The average lifespan of an African elephant living in captivity is 39.1 years shorter than an African elephant living in the wild. According to PETA, an American animal rights organization led by Ingrid Newkirk, in their publication Zoos, Pitiful Prisons, published on November 4th, 2019. All of us have felt the joy of seeing our favorite wild animal in the zoos as a kid. Unfortunately, the harsh reality of it is these animals don't get to feel the same amount of joy because they are living in captivity. The U.S. Department of Agriculture should ban all zoos in the United States. First, I'm going to explain the problems these animals face in zoos. Second, I'm going to discuss how we can help these animals by creating more sanctuaries. Let's move on to how these zoos are bad for the animals. Zoos negatively affect the animals within them in many ways and for many reasons. Animals in zoos often have a shorter lifespan because of the little amount of space and the large amount of stress that they experience daily. Zoo animals are often more obese than the wild animal counterparts because they have a limited amount of exercise. Even people like me and you going and visiting the zoos are harming these animals. Imagine hundreds of people coming into your home every day and taking pictures and making lots of noise. This is extremely stressful for the animals. Unfamiliar people with their smells, sounds, and movements create a stress response in the animal. Reported by Xavier Monteca, professor in the Department of Animal and Food Science at the University of Barcelona, in a report for the Zoo Animal Welfare Education Center published on December 5th, 2017. Captivity is neurologically and physiologically bad for the animals. These animals often show signs of ARB, which is abnormal repetitive behavior. Described by Polly Rose, who has a doctorate degree in zoology at the Center for Research in Animal Behavior at Exeter University in the United Kingdom, in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior on April 23, 2016. Since these animals are in captivity, they do not always get to engage their brains, so the only thing they can do is pace. They'll pace back and forth or around and around their enclosure. Sometimes the animals will pace so much that they end up leaving indents in the ground of their path, sometimes even leaving footprints after stepping in the same exact spot over and over again. These animals are meant to run free and for miles, and their wild animal counterparts are able to go wherever they please and hunt whenever they please. These zoo animals are completely dependent on humans for their food and have no choice where they are. Animals in captivity also can experience long-term hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which is the body's stress response. Declared by Mark Beckhoff, a professor emeritus of ecology and evolutionary behavior at the University of Colorado, in the Journal of Applied Animal Welfare Science in October 2018. Zoos often do not have enough space or stimulation for the animals. Their enclosures are examples of hard architecture. When your brain does not have a lot of stimulation, it kind of goes out of whack. And when your brain does not have a lot of stimulation, it goes out of whack. These animals can experience repetitive pacing, rocking, or self-injurious behavior. Noted by Terry Maple, a behavior research scientist and wildlife conservationist on the World Association of Zoo and Aquariums Journal, published in 2015. Zoos are also not a good form of education. The average visitor spends only a few minutes at each exhibit, and signs at the enclosures often do not share a lot of information about their specific species, diet, or their natural habitat. Visitors also often do not even look at the information that's presented, and their natural behavior is rarely discussed or observed. Now that you understand how zoos negatively affect the animals within them, let's move on to how we can help them by creating more sanctuaries. Sanctuaries are better equipped for the animals than zoos. Most sanctuaries specialize in only a few species so that they can get the best care. Explained by Lori Marino, a neuroscientist and expert in animal behavior and intelligence, and the Center for Animals in Nature Journal, published on July 22, 2016. Sanctuaries. Sanctuaries are for injured animals or animals that can no longer find their own food. This is exactly what these zoo animals are, because they are completely reliant on humans and they are not able to go find their own food source now. These animals should be retired from zoos and put into sanctuaries so they can have the proper care and space to live out the rest of their lives. First, I explained how these zoos negatively affect the animals within them. And second, I discussed how we can help these animals by creating more zoos. The U.S. Department of Agriculture should ban all zoos in the United States. If we get rid of zoos and put these animals into sanctuaries, we imagine increasing their lifespan by 39.1 years instead of decreasing it.
550.